Hello all, it's Jim Johnson aka Sulfurblade. Welcome back to my channel, welcome back to my content, and welcome back to another Windward Horizons help video. And yes, this is going to be a long video, non-scripted, with me talking slowly, because that's the way I talk. Sorry if you can't handle the fact that I am a slow and deliberate talker slash thinker, or that I demonstrate what the fuck to do in the game. So if you don't like it, there's a door over there, you can see yourself out. Anyway, for people who are patient and want to learn the point of this video, keep watching. Alright, in this particular video, we're going to enter in here real fast, because the goal here is to demonstrate how to, how to not only grow a settlement, but how to make it more productive to manufacture the things that you need. In this instance, we're going to grow a wood-producing city on my map and make it produce more wood. So I'm going to start off here in this province by grabbing a bunch of tin. Wait, where am I? Johnson Harbor? Yeah, okay, so I'm gonna buy the tin here. This is something I want to demonstrate over and over and over again in this game, because this is kind of the secret sauce to the game that evidently people just are not getting. And that is, you buy the raw resource, then you go in here to the crafting station, go to tin, and manufacture that good that you need. And not only is it cheaper, but it's a more reliable way of doing it. I'm going to sell those off to clear my... And then any other tin left over, there we go. We have a full hold of tin. Why am I buying tin? Well, it's the cheapest of the metals. What does metals need? Metals are needed for your workshops. You need masonry and lumber for a smith's workshop, or a stonecutter shack you need metal and lumber, so on and so forth. So we're going to take this metal, we're going to leave the region, and we are going to sail out to this town here of Zerton. No, we're gonna go to Sayre. So Zerton has the lumber mill, but it doesn't naturally have lumber in the province. This one has lumber naturally in the province, as in it produces pine, and then it also has a lumber mill. So of these two, this one makes more sense to put effort into. And for some of you whiny people, you know that you can speed up the playback of a YouTube video. In fact, you can even click on different spots on the bar down at the bottom to skip ahead. So if you didn't want to wait for me to sail over here, you could have just skipped ahead. Just saying. Alright, so here we are at the province that we're going to work to build up. And the first thing we notice is that growth is absent. Why is growth absent? Because there's no food, beverage, or clothing coming into the province. So we need to change that. We need to hold in a bunch of food, beverage, and clothing as our primary thing. Then the lumber mill is what we want to actually start manufacturing more lumber. And in order for the lumber mill to manufacture more lumber, it's going to need metal and masonry. So we just happen to bring a whole load of metal over here, so we will go ahead and sell those off. Yeah, so we could either go and get the masonry next, or we can work on growing the town with food, beverage, and clothing. So I'm just gonna wing it, because that's what I do. And we'll go see what's next. It might be food and beverages. Okay, I'm going to jump over here to Rotan, because I think Rotan does have some clothing available, and it's right next door. Alright, here in Rotan we've got furry pelts. These furry pelts, if you use 3 of them, they can turn into other things. So we're going to buy... Oh, let's buy all 15. I guess we can only buy 9. That's fine. Be sure to buy them in groups of 3, because their recipe is to utilize 3 of them. Fur shawl. Combine, combine, combine. And then we could buy some more. Although the burlap hats seem a little bit cheaper. And we'll finish off with some more, I don't know, how about linen shirts? Okay, so we have a whole load of clothing, right? We're going to turn around. sold the whole load of clothing. So now, when we look here, we can see that growth now has one of the inputs. It has clothing. So it's going to get a little bit faster. Not much though. Be sure to check out these things whenever you can. Make sure you're looking for place extra towns in the province or place local defenses in the province. That's going to help the province immensely. If you can come across those missions, do them. Otherwise, you know, just keep on hauling more food, clothing, and beverages to the town. Alright, Mesworth will have food for sure. It might have beverages. We'll see. Okay, now Mesworth is using all the beverages that it produces for its own growth. Since it's now a size 9 town, it uses up a lot of the beverages it makes for its own purposes. However, it should be making fish. These fresh fish here, you can buy them. And then again, you can come over here to the crafting menu, go to fishery, and combine all these fish into cooked meat. And there might be some more cooked meat down here. No. Linen cloth. Alright, well. We didn't completely fill up on food and or beverage, but we got some food. So off to the next location. And if we check growth now, we can see that we now have food on the input and clothing on the input, but we don't have beverages. I'm gonna head over here to Johnson Ranch because I know it should have the things we need. What we need. Why do I know that? Because it has double cattle production on the bottom, and it has a ranch. So that ranch will be able to turn cattle into milk, basically, and that's a beverage that'll be useful for growing in town. And of course we gotta sail all the way across the map. I mean, seriously, if my video being too long for your impatient ass is a problem, then this game is probably a problem for you. This is a patient game, so if you can't deal with the video, you might be playing the wrong game. Just saying. Yeah, I'm a little salty. Sorry, guys. I get annoyed by entitled people. Alright. So, double cattle production. We do indeed have the cows here that we need. So I'm going to buy about 12 to start off with, because cows are used in groups of 2. You need 2 cows to make milk, so that's 6 groups of 2. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6, and filled up the cargo hold just right. Then we need to cook the meat that we have here. And there we go. We have our milk and meat. Which town were we working on? We were working on Sarah. So now when we look, we have all of the things needed to grow the town. We have food, beverages, and clothing. This town should start growing on its own. So this next time we pull in here, it should stop saying absent and should start saying something other than the growth being absent. The lumber mill only has one of two things. We still need to get masonry brought in here. So we're going to do that. However, we're going to check and see if there's any timber that needs to be hauled out, and there is. This is what they manufacture here. Wait, was that all? Alright, we need masonry. There are some towns that are closer than the town I'm about to choose as a destination. But I need that lumber in my home province. And my home province makes masonry. So we're going to sail all the way back to my home province to grab that masonry. And then we have the masonry here. We go 8, 8, and 8. Oh wait, I can leave this way. No, I can't. So, otherwise, other than hauling the food, the beverages, and the clothing to the town, you can collect supply packs. But that's it. That's other than waiting and letting time progress. There's no other way to do this. You know, this is there's a certain level of patience involved in the game. So the town will consume X amount of food, X amount of beverage, and X amount of clothing per day, if you will. And as long as that's a positive value, the town will grow at the fastest rate it can per day. When one of those things is absent, it's going to grow at a slightly slower rate. If all of those things are absent, it's not going to grow at all. Okay, you can see growth has become abundant here. Actually, sell the most expensive stuff first. So now we've fully hauled food, beverages, and clothing here. There's enough food, upkeep, for 19 days. There's enough beverage upkeep for 17 days, and there's enough clothing upkeep for 39 days. This is your upkeep. How much is needed in the province to continue to function at optimal efficiency, if you will. So the lumber mill is now going to be growing as quickly as it can, and it's going to be manufacturing as quickly as it can. Which, there's a couple pieces of fir wood, not much. Grab it. Alright, so the other thing about buying stuff in a province is that it's going to change the prosperity. So the more to date, I have been importing far more than I've been exporting from this town. So all of that food I sold, all of that beverages I've sold, all of the metal, all of the other things I've sold into this town has costed its money. So the town's coffers are lower, thus it's less prosperous. However, in the future, if I was to just let this build up wood and I started to come here exclusively to buy wood and take it out, you would see this prosperity shift to go high, because the town would turn from being a town that's relying on imports to becoming a town that's primarily doing exports, and so then you would see the prosperity grow. Alright, now that we have a bunch of wood, we're gonna head back out. gonna take this to New Jamestown. And while I'm at New Jamestown, I'm going to pick up more food and beverages. In the form of, I'm probably going to buy 12 cows and turn them into milk, and I'll have a little bit of extra cooked meat, well, raw meat that I'll turn into cooked meat. I'll bring that load of milk and cooked meat back, and I should be done hauling stuff to Sayre. At that point, I can ignore Sayre, and it'll grow on its own for a while. I won't need to do any input into it. The only thing otherwise I could do is to do missions to collect supply crates and dump supply crates on it. But otherwise, it's just going to grow at whatever rate it's growing at. There's nothing else, you know. The more food, water, and stuff you dump into it isn't going to make it grow faster. It's just going to mean it's going to have upkeep for a longer period of time to continue to grow at that same rate. You can't make it grow any faster than the rate it's growing at, is what I'm saying. Okay. So here I am at Jamesboro, and I'm going to drop this wood off here because it needed wood. That's what it was missing for its purposes of upkeep. And then I am going to buy cattle here. 12. I'm going to go to the recipe for milk. And then go to the recipe for cooked meat. And I'm ready to get underway. So again, the main reason that I'm growing this town at this point in time is that lumber has been my primary weakness in my supply chain currently. I haven't personally placed a lumber town yet. This particular lumber town was placed by the AI. It's the only place on the map that has lumber, or well, has logs as a resource and also has a lumber mill. There's other places that have lumber mills but no logs, for example, for inside of the province. So this is the best place I got right now to grow to help with my wood issue for my other towns. So that's why I'm growing it. Alright, now if we hover up here, we've got upkeep for 25 days in food, we've got upkeep for 35 days in beverages, 39 days in clothing, 28 days in masonry, 22 days in metal. We've got plenty of upkeep for the town to abundantly grow for some time. It's only at 8% growth towards becoming level 2. So the only other thing you can do is find a mission that gives you town supplies. When your town is low level, like level 0, level 1, level 2, level 3, these supplies have a major effect. But when the town reaches about level 4, level 5, these supplies have far less effect. And when your town reaches like level 8, level 9, they almost have no effect. So just keep that in mind. I'm going to try this pirate hunt just to show you how town supplies do manually affect the town growth. Alright. So we got our town supplies. Now watch out. Currently at 17%. When I hand this over, it still says 17. That's because the windows are paused. If I click down here and then click back up, it should update. And we're up to 50%. So that one supply package brought this up to 50% of the way towards becoming a level 2 town. But at this point, there's nothing else to show you in this video. I've demonstrated everything there is to know about how to grow your town. Just to summarize real fast is that growth. This is how to grow the town, right? You need food, beverages, and clothing. If you have enough food, beverage, and clothing to satisfy the daily upkeep, your town is going to grow at the fastest rate it can. It doesn't get any faster than that unless you manually haul in supply crates. But supply crates have diminishing returns. If you hand them in one after another, they're not going to do much because they have a diminishing effect. So ultimately at this point, this town is going to reach level 2 whenever it reaches level 2. It's just a matter of being patient and waiting for that to happen. There's plenty of upkeep here to pay for its growth until then. So this is how you grow a town. You haul in food, you haul in water, you haul in clothes, and then you wait and you be patient. Anyway, I'm James Johnson. This is my content. Hopefully you're enjoying it. If so, please smash that like button. Consider subscribing. And until the next time all, peace.